Start winning at the races with Daily Racing Form's new mobile pass performances, featuring exclusive buyer speed figures and expert analysis and selections. Go to drf.com/best and get the power of DRF in the palm of your hand.
Hi everybody, Andrew Champagne here with analysis of the Stronach 5 for Friday, July 3rd. This sequence is a $1 minimum bet with an ultra-low takeout of 12%, and the wager focuses on races at Gulfstream Park and Laurel Park. One reminder before we dive into analysis of the sequence, this analysis assumes that all races carded for the turf stay there. If there are any surface changes, adjust your handicapping accordingly. We'll kick things off with leg number 1. This is race number 7 at Laurel Park. It's a $16,000 claiming event for older fillies and mares going 5.5 furlongs on the turf course. We've got a big field signed on, big fields throughout this sequence actually, and I'm going too deep in here. My top selection is number 4, Judy Blue Eyes. Great hunch play for you Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young fans out there. Hasn't won in a while, but comes back to turf second off the bench for a high percentage barn. Her lone win came at this route last summer, and her 2 turf races against better horses were both very good. I think there's a real chance the surface switch wakes this one up in this spot, and she might be a decent price. Number 5, Jenny Highway, meanwhile, is your likely favorite. She hasn't run since September, which is a concern, but if she returns to her 2019 form, she'll be one of the ones to beat. She's yet to run a bad race to this point in her career, and the recent bullet workout over at Pimlico is encouraging. 4-5 for me in race number 7 at Laurel Park, the first leg of the Stronach 5. Leg number 2 is race number 9 at Gulfstream. This is an optional claiming event for older fillies and mares going 1 mile, and if this was a 50-cent wager, I may very well hit the all button in this race. It's a field of 8, and I think most of this field could logically win. I'm taking a bit of a stand in my opinion by only going 3 deep. My top selection is number 2, Alizé, who makes her first start since January for a new trainer. However, she's got several very strong works. That indicates to me that she's ready to run. This is a step up in class for her, but I think the 1-turn mile could hit her right between the eyes given her running style. Number 8, Free to Fly, meanwhile, won last time out and was claimed by Gustavo Delgado. Delgado doesn't claim many horses, and when he does, he usually means business. This is a step up in class off of that effort, but she's run well against similar company in the past and should be rolling late. The price that I'm using is number 7, Miss Flying Sun. I think they may have figured out what she wants to do last time out. She started her career with 2 turf races. The last race got rained off the turf, and she jogged that day. The connections take an aggressive approach with this one. To me, that screams confidence, and I need to have her on my tickets. 2, 7, and 8 for me in race number 9 at Gulfstream, the second leg of the Stronach 5. Leg number 3, meanwhile, takes us back to Laurel for race number 8 on their program. This is an allowance race for older horses going a mile, and again, I'm going 3 deep. My top selection is the entry of number 1, Compound It, and number 1A, Name Changer, who are both owned by Colts Neck Stables. I prefer Name Changer, who's won 8 times and has run really well over the surface, but Compound It could be tough if he's left alone on the front end. I also need to use both number 7, Cordmaker, and number 8, Always Mining. Cordmaker hasn't run since September, but the faster they go early, the more that one figures to like it. Always Mining, meanwhile, is a multiple stakes winner who loves Laurel Park. I think he could sit a really good stalking trip and be ready to pounce turning for home. Does get some class relief after a failed stakes try at Churchill last time out. 1, 7, and 8 for me in race number 8 at Laurel, the third leg of the Stronach 5. Leg number 4 is race number 10 at Gulfstream. This is a maiden race with older horses going a mile on turf, and this is where I take my biggest stand. I am singling number 4, Moni, who makes his first start since March of 2019. However, he's been working steadily for Wesley Ward, and his lone race to date was deceptively strong. He drew wide that day and debuted going 2 turns, which is never an easy thing for a horse to do. However, he was beaten just a length and a half, and the rider dropped the whip that day, so he may have been better than the final margin would indicate. He's by Scat Daddy and out of a very productive mare, so he's bred to be a good one. If he runs to that pedigree and improves off of the debut effort, I think he's the one to beat. We're singling number 4 Moni in leg number 4 of the Stronach 5, race 10 at Gulfstream. We'll finish things off with race number 9 at Laurel Park. This is an allowance race for older horses going a mile and a 16th on the turf course. I'm trying to beat number 1 J. Beresford Tipton, the 2-to-1 morning line favorite. He won first time out, but has burned a lot of money since then, and the last race fell apart late. If he didn't get up that day with that kind of setup, I don't think he gets up here in a race with far less speed. I'm going too deep to finish things off. My top selection is number 4 Speed Game, who makes his second start off the bench and figures to be on or near the lead. He was compromised by the fast pace in the race I already mentioned. He was 6th that day but was beaten less than 2 lengths. I think he gets a friendlier trip here and that he improves second off the layoff. I'll also throw in number 7 Epitomize, who is 10-to-1 on the morning line. He makes his first start since November for trainer Graham Motion, who excels with runners coming off of long layoffs. He won first time out when rallying from 9th at Presque Isle. Then they have bounced a bit up at Woodbine. He's been working well and deserves a look at a price. My ticket is $36, and here's one last look at how it looks. 4-5 with 2-7-8, with 1-7-8, with 4, with 4-7. Again, the Stronach 5 starts in race number 7 at Laurel Park. It's a $1 minimum wager, and you can play it at drfbets.com. I'm Andrew Champagne signing off. Best of luck with all your wagers.